I'd like to find the road we roam together, swinging along, finding the long way home. We didn't mind the time or place or weather, singing a song, finding the long way home. Remember, I used to sigh at the end of each day, dear.
What is happening, house lovers and explorers? Welcome back to another video. In today's episode, I take a look at a classic old State Bank War Service home that was built in 1924. And I will give the history on this place shortly, but this property was last owned by the Otto family, as it was incorporated into their timber operations site here in the suburb of Stepney as they expanded over the decades. And I have already uploaded 2 videos that cover the Otto timber history and this large site, and the links to those videos are in the description. Now this video will cover the old home and its history, including the occupants, but I will do a 4th video that condenses the whole Otto history and the old homes that once stood here. I was lucky enough to have Nathan Otto invite me to be shown around their new timber site in McGill. Nathan is the 4th generation of Otto timber merchants and is the current owner and manager of the new site. He has kindly offered to share more history and information that will fill in the details for the next video too, which I look forward to. Okay, so our old home for today's video stood at 8 Wells Street, Stepney, and as mentioned was built as part of the housing scheme for World War I returned soldiers. Often referred to as the State Bank bungalows, these homes were built to the bank's specifications and offered to the soldiers as a low interest rate for their service to the country. The homes varied slightly in appearance, but most prominently displayed the classic large, low-pitched gable roof and veranda, influenced by the arts and crafts era. One distinct feature identifying these homes as a war service home is a concrete lintel line around the perimeter of the home, just above the windows. Not every single home had one of these, but the ones that did were easy to associate to the State Bank scheme. I am putting together a comprehensive video regarding the State Bank bungalows, as there is a lot more interesting information to it, so stay tuned for that. Alright, let's get into some backstory to this old home and wind the clock back to the early 1900s, when George Henry Smith owned 2 lots of land here on Wells Street, being numbers 6 and 8. This was during a time when only small workers' cottages lined the streets. In 1911, George's eldest daughter, Mabel Laura, married John Stephen Brownsea. George and his wife Emma transferred the property of number 6 Wells Street to the newlyweds the following year in 1912. George passed away in 1916, leaving wife Emma and youngest daughter Edith May to continue living at number 8 Wells Street. Daughter Edith May married the following year in 1917 to Albert Cuthbert Hulbert, who had just served in the World War the previous year of 1916. They had 2 children, Constance Emma and Albert George Hulbert. And in 1924, the property was transferred from mother Emma to son-in-law Albert and her daughter Edith May. As the address is exactly the same as previous, being number 8 Wells Street, this suggests that the older cottage was replaced with the larger war service home we see today. The return soldier scheme was indeed ramped up in 1924 to deal with a house shortage and an already behind schedule. So it seems that Albert was rewarded with his war service home at this point, and to accommodate his expanding family of the new children and mother-in-law Emma, they chose to build on the existing site of 8 Wells Street. The Hulberts would live here into the 1950s, with Edith May's mother Emma passing away here in 1938. In 1953, the home was transferred to Emma Hilda Frader Williams. Then 11 years later in 1964, the home was purchased by the Otto Timber Company. And also, by this stage, the other 2 homes at 6 and 4 Wells Street were also now part of the Otto site. Number 8 would not be lost under the warehouse section of the timber mill and would continue to be rented out to various occupants. at least up until the 1980s to my knowledge, where it became used for storage purposes, much like the old home I have already shown on Ann Street, seen here. I took several photos of this old home on 8 Wells Street over a few years and finally got a look inside just prior to its demolition in September of 2022. As you can see, the home itself is a time capsule, unchanged from its build date in 1924. Well, guys and gals, let's take a look through the old home, and as you will see, this format of home was the typical standard layout for this era of bungalows. Although the kitchen in this one was actually in the back lean-to section. Let's get into it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all enjoy. This is an oldie too, which was used as storage. Check out the old tongue and groove lean-to. Yeah, there was a lot of storage in this yard. But yeah, now they've fenced it off and getting ready to demolish. They've cleared it out. Just switched the light on. Oh, look at that nice decay up there. Yeah, just like over on Ann Street. I got a few photos of this place from the front along the street. Interesting colour. Now that's an old kitchen cabinet there. It hasn't got the lead light glass. Still a nice oldie though. Actually, this probably was the laundry area. More often than not, you see the old timber lean-tos in Victoria, not so much in South Australia. Now this would be the original back porch. Well, actually no. Mudroom. That's just a cupboard. Maybe for your coat.
Webster Universal Dictionary. Have a look at the size of that thing. Oh, the old bathroom. There's that colour again, so they've gone to town with the paints and the tiles, brown tiles from the 70s. Probably a 60s upgrade with the toilet. Oh, look at the old. Now that is the original old bathroom cabinet. The old wax paper. Still there. That's cool. Oh, of course there's a modern day mask sitting there. There's one crack. Beautiful grill up there. That is classic Federation fretwork, hallway fretwork. Oh, I think they're like inflatable pool things. They look like tyres, but they're not. Oh, this one's had the old mezzanine and the chipboard floor put in as well, like over in Ann Street. High Velocity Sport. Yeah, they're like inflatable tyres, pool tyres. Floaties. The wrought iron security. Don't know, that looks like a 60s vanity and wardrobe. That's where the power box was. Again, they've redone the floor. No mantle. Well, that one had the really high one. The one that extends up above the actual ledge. Usually has like a mirror in between two shelves. Also very distinct to the Federation period. Now what's that? Obviously something was rigged up there. Alright, one front room. Nothing too much to see. Someone's got the old light switch. Probably with some LED light there. See, it's still got the old late Victorian door, and it doesn't have the distinct Californian bungalow gable, but it's definitely transitioning away from the old villas into the smaller bungalow style. We do have a original mantle and fireplace still there, and a nice reverb going on in this room. Oh, there's an Art Deco light. And I do recall there being all boarding and mattresses covering these windows when I took photos a year ago. Well, that was short and sharp. It's definitely been cleared out of everything. Not that I knew what was in here, but you could tell just by the windows, as I just mentioned, was probably full of storage. Things from Otto's, just like the Ann Street property.
Well, guys and gals, that is it for this one. And I'm glad I was able to uncover a bit of the history after the explore and put it at the beginning of the video. So I hope you all enjoyed that added information. As mentioned, the home was demolished in September of 2022, and it was the last building standing, as you can see in these images. I'm looking forward to finding out some more Otto history from Nathan and Ken in the near future, and then condense all these parts into one doco-style video. But for now, it's farewell to the old home built for the Holbert and Smith family. It stood here on Wells Street as a great reminder of the old days, also as an example of the war service homes provided to the soldiers of World War I. Jump in the comments, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will move on to another one and see you all in the next video. Alright guys, cheers, bye.